I'm not safe. I don't feel safe inside of my body because it's proven to me that it doesn't function properly. So it's natural to want to be inside where I feel safest. Even though I don't want to be inside, I want to be out, I want to be living my life. But it's tough. Hi, I'm Hannah Zadancic. I have OCD. And today you guys are going to see what that looks like for me. I don't know. If they had found what my condition was right away, I don't know if things would have gotten so bad. My OCD revolves around the fear of throwing up. I'm afraid of like spicy foods because I'm afraid that they'll upset my stomach. I'm also afraid of like how like horrific the throw up would be if I threw up something spicy and flavorful versus like something very bland like toast. That would be like not so scary vomit, but like big plate of spaghetti, red sauce. Horrifying. Like I don't know if I would ever be able to look at the color red.
Emetophobia is a fear of vomiting. It's a fear of anything related to vomiting. It could be the smell of vomiting, it could be the look of vomiting, it could be that feeling, the somatic experience of vomiting, and the person would avoid it at all costs. The person might be checking for things to make sure there's no vomit around, or they might be checking their bodily symptoms to make sure that they don't have food poisoning. They'll definitely be checking the food and only eating specific foods, only eating foods that they feel safe to avoid the possibility of vomiting.
My core fear is suffering that doesn't end. Actually kind of the concept of hell. And to me, I was always afraid of vomiting, so I thought that hell was me vomiting forever. And that's always been my core fear and the driving force behind all of the irrational things that I do. Come here, Steve, you wanna go for a walk? Okay, I'm going to get I have something called a relief band. I'm gonna get it. It's in my medicine. I'm not sure where it is. I have a lot of stuff in this bag. It's kind of embarrassing, but this is meclizine, which is, you can get it over the counter, which is what this is over the counter. I have a benzodiazepine that I take for panic attacks, my multivitamins, nasal spray to keep my sinuses clear because I believe it helps with my vertigo. I don't know if that's true. I have a CBD stick. I'll just like rub it all over my stomach when it hurts. And then I have just your standard Tylenol, which I'm too afraid to ever take because I'm afraid it's going to hurt my stomach. But I have it anyways. So this is something I like to put on before I go outside for walks because it's a relief band. And what it does, it's like, it focuses on the point right here and it shoots like electrical somethings and it goes through and to the brain and it interacts with the part of the brain that makes you nauseous and it's supposed to stop it. But I have thrown up with one of these on, so it's not guaranteed, but it still makes me feel better. I always have Zofran on me. It's a tablet, it dissolves under your tongue and it gets rid of nausea and prevents you from vomiting. So the medication that I have here and that I take when I'm having a vertigo episode does help in my symptom management, but this is also a crutch, because while I do experience like the physical symptoms that I'm afraid of, like vertigo and dizziness and nausea and vomiting, it is not as eminent as my OCD deems it to be. So I don't want to go outside. I don't want to be around people and become dizzy and sick. It's the most horrible feeling in the world, and it's something I've always been afraid of, and now it actually happens to me. So yeah, I'm trying to get further and further away of having these safety items around me at all times. I used to not be able to leave a room without taking everything with me. This is just me trying to take some control over something that I really don't have control over. There's also sunscreen in here because I do have a normal fear of skin cancer, not OCD related. You ready to go outside? You want to go outside for a walk? Come on. Okay. Tiny walk. Before I go outside, depending on like what the weather looks like, I choose a pair of sunglasses that should help me because I have some low vision issues. So these are polarized. They're usually my go-to, but on bad days when my eyes are shaky and just not functioning properly, I go for like these pretty intense ones, and they have tape on the sides to really shield the peripherals so I can stay focused and straight and not feel so dizzy. I'm just gonna bring these just in case. Also, embarrassingly, a vinyl glove to open the downstairs door with because it's a shared living space and I have OCD. Come on, Steve. Maybe just a short little walk. So this particular landing area is a little bit triggering for me because I've been stuck here a few times with vertigo, feeling like I'm gonna throw up and still having to take my dog out, but feeling like I just can't walk or I'll be sick. So I always get like short in my chest, shortness of breath when I go past it because I just have spent not great moments there. This is shared space, so it's kind of a mess. Come on, Stevie. There's just a lot of visual stimuli and noise, and that can just overwhelm my senses. And I'm already dealing with like double vision and dizziness, so it doesn't feel great. I'm gonna walk her down just a little bit and then turn around. Come on, just a little walk. Okay. All right, let's go. Okay. And then I start to feel sick. And then I get afraid. Okay. Okay. Go in. Come on, Stevie. That's cool. All right, Stevie.
What are you feeling right now?
Sick. A little like nauseated. Just like dizzy. I feel pressure in my ear. I need to go inside. Yeah. Okay, come on, Steve. Come on. Okay. Go. Go. Go up. Go upstairs. Go. Okay. It's fine. Okay.
That's tough, huh?
Yeah, just having anxiety, and it's just hard. It's hard to deal with the symptoms when I'm so afraid of them. And then getting worked up about them makes them worse. Like panic, you can experience dizziness and nausea when you have panic attacks. So it's like sometimes I don't know what's what.
So when we experience panic attacks, they're felt and experienced differently by everybody. Most individuals will experience a panic attack at some point in your life, but it often feels all-consuming. You have tunnel vision, right? All you can think about and focus on is that one thing. Your breathing becomes really, really shallow. It's really hard to breathe. It feels like you're hyperventilating, and you are totally consumed by the fear and the thoughts in that moment. Right? There's no rationale, there's no logic, everything is out the window, our insight is gone, and the only thing that has taken over is our OCD or anxiety or whatever's going on.
I noticed you wanted to gravitate back to the door.
Yes. Yeah. I felt very unsafe and vulnerable. Just part of it is my vestibular system, just feeling like I'm off kilter and I need to be stationary, and then there's a lot of visual things, visual stimuli, and then it just feels like a need, get back inside, you are not safe here. And my dog takes the brunt of it because, she should be able to go for a walk and go to the backyard, which is something I'm working on with my therapist, to be able to go to my own backyard by myself and sit there for a while with my dog. I haven't been able to do that in a while.
I think that one of the common components of OCD is avoidance. And what happens is the more we become triggered and the worse our OCD is, the more isolated we become because we start to avoid people, places, and things, right? The situations, events, or places that make us anxious or that we know we might experience a trigger. And so in turn, you become more and more isolated. In addition to that, there's shame, there's embarrassment, there's stigma. Your friends aren't going to understand what you're going through. Your family members, half of them don't understand what you're going through. A lot of times they've lost a lot of the empathy because they're living in the middle of it. It's exhausting for them as well. Not only does OCD stop you from being able to find the joy and the pleasure that you used to find in everyday activities, it also increases isolation because you eventually start to isolate and your world becomes smaller as you try to keep it safe. And what you find is that the smaller it becomes, the more unsafe it becomes also, right? Because the more we try to keep these safe zones or these OCD-free places, the worse we feel because we're more depressed, we're more isolated, and those places will also eventually become contaminated or, triggering.
So in 2019 was when this all started for me. I woke up with vertigo, and it got progressively worse. So I haven't really been able to do social things since the last time I did something social, just that was unplanned and just because I wanted to, probably sometime in June of 2019. June was when I stopped being able to drive.
You know what? So what month is it right now?
It's June.
2021.
It's June 2021, so it's been 2 years. 2 years. I hate it. I hate it a lot. And when this first started happening, I was in such a good place. I was planning to move my life to California. I was a functional person. I still had OCD, but it was not impacting my life in the ways that it had in the past. I was, for all intents and purposes, fully functional human, fully functional person in society. And when I first started experiencing vertigo, I had this attitude of, okay, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get this better. I went to vestibular therapy and I was working my butt off, purposefully making myself sick to induce symptoms because I knew that, or I was told that was going to make me better. And it made me worse. Things got worse. I lost functioning with my eyes. I developed low vision issues, and I now have to get a surgery for my eye muscles, and I don't know if they had found what my condition was right away. I don't know if things would have gotten so bad. But I wasn't diagnosed with my official condition for a year. On the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst I've ever been, I'm tilting 8 and 9 every day. Some days it can look like I'm a 5 or a 6, but deep down I'm an 8 or a 9. The truth is I'm an 8 or a 9. I feel like I'm masking when I'm presenting myself as anything else, covering it up. Because I'm embarrassed. I feel like, I don't know, there's just a lot of shame. Because I know how OCD works. I've been through treatment several times. I've dug myself out of holes, and then gone back down into the holes to dig myself back out, and I feel like I've been stuck in this particular hole, and I don't see how I can ever get back the functionality and the normalcy that I had. And I think that's common when anyone is dealing with a physical condition or a disability. You know, you have to grieve part of your old life, but the way my OCD has been interacting with this condition is like, it's just very intolerable and demoralizing.
You know, OCD is a stealer of many things. It's a stealer of time, it's a stealer of joy, it's a stealer of emotional stability. I mean, it damages relationships. And this is why it's so problematic, because most people who develop OCD also have other things as a result. Depression is highly comorbid with OCD. But the beauty of that is that you can get that back with the right help and the right treatment. It really does like have a negative effect on all aspects of somebody's life, because they're spending so much time trying to manage it that they're not able to live life.
You know, the day I get to go and get to drive to the grocery store by myself and get groceries, because that's a very overwhelming experience for my dizziness. That will be the best day of my life. Who can say that going to the grocery store is the best day of their life? It will be mine. It will be my best day. And so simple, such simple things that I want in life. And I feeling those things again, the simplicity of just sitting on my porch, not in fear, just in enjoying it. It's so powerful.